What's up, guys? I'm Remote Night Owl. Hope that you're all having a wonderful day. So today we're back with a less exciting but still very important video for League of Legends, and we will be addressing the HUD or the heads-up display. So the reason I wanted to do this video is I remember being a new player, and I remember back in the day I had settings in my HUD that I never touched or never bothered with, and it actually hindered my gameplay. So I want to get that ironed out and worked out so you, the player, can have the maximum visual information without having any extra garbage or trash on your screen that you don't need. So I want to get into the settings I use, why I use them, and the philosophy behind those settings. So when it comes to the philosophy of the HUD settings, the way I look at it is basically this. Minimize what you don't need, get rid of information that is unnecessary, and maximize the important and necessary information. Meaning that you want to get rid of, again, everything that you don't need, but keep everything that is 100% essential, so you can maximize your visuals when it comes to the game. So going from left to right, let's start with the chat. The chat size I currently have set to 100, and this is your most important when it comes to pinging and typing game information. So I have both all chat and regular chat enabled. Scroll down here. And then I also have timestamps enabled. That is the most important thing here. Why? Because as you can see, I've flashed a couple times and have pinged it. And you can see down here, so when I ping flash at 27:52, I know that 5 minutes later at 32:52, I will know that, my team will know that either my flash or if I ping the enemy's flash, they'll know that's when it comes off the cooldown. So, moving left to right, let's go over here to the resource bar. So let's talk about the size first of all. So when it comes to the size of your resource bar, I have mine set to 0. Here's why. We set it to 100. This is how big it makes it. This is roughly the size, if not a little bit bigger than a character model. So to give you a practical example of why this is a bad idea to have it this big, is because let's say you're getting up here, you're fighting, and you're getting ganked from the jungler. You have one character model's worth of time to not respond to it. Versus if I drop it to 0, now I have all of this extra information down here, and I have access to it visually. Now, let's talk about the runes and the times on the resource bar. So, runes, in my opinion, is a matter of preference. So, personally, I like having runes up, because when it comes to stuff like Legend Tenacity, Legend Alacrity, any of the hunters in the domination tree, I can see where they are in terms of their stacking progress. If you want a little bit more visual information, you can turn it off. Or if you prefer to have your champion stats up, you can have that as well. In my opinion, it's just a matter of preference. Now, when it comes to the time in your abilities of your resource bar, I have it set to minutes and seconds. Couple reasons. First one is that I don't have it set to minutes because I like to know how much time is left below or above 1 minute. So if there's a minute and a half left, I want to be able to see that 1 minute 30 seconds. And the other reason I don't have it set to seconds specifically is that it's a waste of time and brain power for me to calculate how much time is actually left. So if it reads 110 seconds, I have to spend the extra brain power to be like, oh, that's a minute 50. Whereas if I have it set to minutes and seconds, I look down, boom, minute 50 on my ultimate, back to the game. Okay? So for me, on cooldown display, I have it set to minutes and seconds because it'll give me the fastest access to the best available amount of time. Moving right on over to our minimap. So, I have this set to 100. Why? Because the minimap is one of the most important resources in the game. It tells you everything from a macro perspective in terms of what towers are up and down, when jungle camps are coming off of cooldown, where you have wards in the fog of war so you know where vision is, where your fellow champions are on the game, as well as where enemy champions may potentially be, as well as being able to precisely ping on the map in the best way possible. Also, the minimap is faster at giving you out of fog of war information, meaning that if I'm up here and I'm getting ganked, if I look at the minimap, you can see that down here off screen, fog of war is open. So that enemy will come onto the minimap screen before they actually enter my field of view. So if I have it set to 0, that's way smaller, more distance for my eyes to travel, and it's harder for me to ping as precisely as I need. So if I set it to maximum available information and smallest amount of time my eyes have to travel from my character model over to here to get this information. So, moving up to time bar here, kills, CS, or score, kills, CS, timer. I personally like to have frames and ping on, so if there's a stutter problem or I start to lag or something seems wrong, I can respond to it faster by keeping it up there. The base keys for keeping this set is Control F, so that's how that turns that on and off, excuse me. So, moving over to the center of our screen, let's talk about our Champions resource bar. Couple things to note. First of all, what don't I have on here? That is the summoner name and the champion name. So, over here, let me see here. So, show names above health bar. I have that set to none. Not summoner name, not champion name, none. Why? Because going back to our philosophy of getting rid of what is unnecessary versus keeping what is necessary, keeping the health bar on is necessary. Keeping knowing who the champion is or who the player is by name in this context, we don't need. So that little extra bit of visual information up here, you can get rid of so you have access to the map behind you. Now, when it comes to colorblind mode, I have it turned on. Am I personally colorblind? No. Do you need to have colorblind mode on if you're not? No. But it's a good idea if you do. Here's why. As you can see, my champion's health bar is yellow. When it comes to having colorblind mode turned off, you're going to have two color schemes. Your team is going to be green, and the enemy team is going to be red. If you have colorblind mode on, you're going to have three color schemes. Your champion is going to have its own color. Your team is going to be green, so you'll be yellow, team will be green, and then the enemy will be a monotone separate color. So when it comes to practically identifying who's where in a team fight as well as who's who, having colorblind mode on is the best idea in my opinion, even if you're not colorblind. That way you have access to the most information of who's who, where's people in a team fight, and who you should or shouldn't click on depending on the cast types that you have. So guys, that is my HUD. Those are my recommendations, and those are the settings that I personally use. If you have any other questions, leave a comment. I will gladly answer them. But as far as the heads-up display is concerned, that's what I have for you guys today. So, thank you all very much for watching, and as always, we'll see each other again real soon. Have a wonderful day.